and welcome. Martina here with another video on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. Today's video is all about Spring Wonder. This is one of the designs that come in this amazing concept where you get the effortless artistry papers, the pre-colored images, the stamp and the die, and they all match perfectly together. So you can mix and match everything. The images in the paper pad are pre-colored. They have been colored by Luna, Erica, and Brenda. These are amazingly skilled design team members of Crafty Meraki, and their designs have been printed on that paper and are ready for you to use. So you can, as the paper pad's name says, create effortlessly. I am trying to get the most of this set, so I will be using one of these pre-colored sheets, but I will also try to mix and match things up. And so I am starting with getting 3 stamped images of the Spring Wonder stamp on cardstock. I'm using my Misty as the stamp is quite huge, and I think you will see that it comes in very handy that you have a stamping tool if you're doing big stamps as this one, because you have to go back and forth with the stamp and the ink until you have a nice coverage of the ink on your paper. As you see now, the first imprint is just not enough, so I'm going back and forth and adding more ink until I'm satisfied with the result. I will be using a variety of medias on my stamped images today, so I decided to use a hybrid ink, and I will also be using some clear embossing on the stamping. I think the clear embossing is absolutely not necessary. It's just personal preference, and I totally love watching embossing powder melt on stamped images, and so I do it on every occasion I get to do it. But it's not necessary to do one of these techniques I'm using today. The first technique I'm using today on one of my stamped images is just coloring with magicals. I'm using magicals from the Nantucket Pearls set, Deutsch the Sales set, and Summer Break. Yeah, the umbrella drink pink is from Summer Break. And I'm having my small palette where I apply a tiniest amount of powder, and then I'm going in with a pipette which is filled with clear and fresh water, and I'm just filling these wells to get my already ready watercolors. You see, I've been spraying some water onto the back and front of my paper. This helps to keep the paper on my surface and flat on my surface. And yeah, now I have just floral colors, and I'm going in and coloring these absolutely roughly. I don't care much about which color is put where, or I don't care about being very careful or exact. I'm just dabbing off the worst blobs on the paper, as you maybe just saw me doing that. And yeah, that's the whole thing. After I've done the coloring of the flowers, I'm going in and add some droplets of colored water to the berries, and I will repeat the same steps with the leaves. When all the leaves have been colored, I also used some of the leftover paint to just add some splatters. In the end, I recognized that this would maybe made sense if it is a card, but as I'm going to die cut the whole thing, it's probably not necessary, but I liked it. Then, for my second version of the stamped image, I am going in and using my alcohol markers. I recently bought them. I finally jumped on that bandwagon, and I'm an absolute beginner. I have no skills. You see, I have a lighter and a darker shade of all the colors of the rainbow, and I'm going to make some rainbow flowers, and I think these flowers are very beginner friendly. But it, as you can imagine, even these easy flowers take ages for me, and I think this is where it absolutely shows how amazing the EAP papers come in, because you can, yeah, you win so much time because you don't have to do this step, but you can if you want to. And I think that's the great opportunity, right? You just have one more option. If you want to spend the time coloring, if you want to have this relax and recreation, and you like coloring as I do most of the times, you can totally do it because you have the stamp and the die. But if you feel like I need 3 cards, same design, very fast, you can just take your EAP papers and your die and you're almost there. And I think that's amazing. Yeah, I think I will now stop my video and skip until the end of my coloring, because you don't have to watch me coloring these two-toned flowers. I mean, I like them, but you don't have to watch me creating them. So, see you soon. Here we are back again. Finished my rainbow of flowers, and for a second I've been thinking of coloring in the leaves with some different shades of greens, but I decided that the colors against that black and white of the stamping and the embossed stamping pops so nicely that I just decided I leave that as it is. I have then been grabbing my die cutting machine and setting up the plates, and just needed to align the die with my stamped image. This works very easily as it is a big piece and it's one piece, so you have it aligned very fast. And then I just send it through 1 times, and I already have my first Spring Wonder wreath finished. These are all 4 wreaths, the one with the pre-colored image, the watercolor one, the plain one, and my rainbow one. And now let's start with finishing the cards. With the EAP, Bindu, the owner of Crafty Meraki, came also up with 2 packs of papers. And there is one paper pad which is called Luxe Plaid pattern paper. That's the one I'm using right now, which has amazing, as it says, plaid patterns. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love it. And the other paper pad, I will be using it later, is called For the Love of Flowers. I am just gluing my Spring Wonder wreath down with some Burley Arts glue, making sure it sticks well, and then I'm flipping the paper and using the edge of the paper as alignment to just cut it to a card size. I am then using, as I said, a piece from the For the Love of Flower. There are amazing flower designs, but also 3 patterns with plain ombres, and I totally love these ombre papers, and that's why I'm using the yellow one for my hand-colored flower wreath. And of course, I mean, I decided to use the same design for 4 cards, but my intention was to have 4 completely different cards. That's why I use different techniques to glue them down. You see, this time I'm using a stripe of double-sided adhesive tape on the very edge of the paper, and later I will be just filling in little droplets of liquid glue where I thought it would be needed, but it just made my, yeah, I could work more quick with the double-sided adhesive tape, and I was also sure that the top and the bottom part of the flowers stuck very well on the edge. The next card is my rainbow wreath, and I'm trying to get as much of my wreath into the card as possible. That's why I'm shifting and turning the thing over and over again. But as soon as I found an angle where I think I could fit a lot of into the card, I just took the Burley Arts glue and again glued everything down. All 4 of the cards are kind of flat, just the sentiments and the embellishments I'll be adding at the end are raised, but my flower designs are all flat on the card. I could have been using some adhesive foam tape stuff, but I just decided to keep it, yeah, flat and easy. And for my fourth card, I'm using the green ombre paper of the For the Love of Flowers paper pad. Again, I absolutely love these ombre papers, and I think it matches very, very well with the pre-colored image. Again, liquid glue, and just making sure that I have all these nooks and crannies and small pieces covered with liquid glue so everything stays where it should. Flipping the paper, cutting it roughly so I can finish the design before I clean all the corners and edges of the card. And this already marks the end of the preparing of my card bases. I have then been gluing all 4 card bases to, well, real top fold cards with double-sided adhesive tape. They all have a small white mirror around the card base. I really like that look. And here they are, the 4 cards coming from the same place with a totally different look. And they are now ready to be embellished. I am adding sentiments from the Spring Wonder EAPs. They come with matching dies, but I have also 2 sentiments from Sweet Tweets and Little Green Thumbs EAP. I just cut them from the paper, and all the sentiments are glued with some foam tape that I have a tiny bit of dimension on the cards. Talking about dimension, this is a Crafty Meraki video. They have the best gems. And I know I already used the Petunia dewdrops on the release video on these berries of the Spring Wonder, but I absolutely loved the design. So I just decided to repeat that idea. It is an absolutely, I love the process of taking the Billiards glue, adding a drop, taking my pickup wand and just placing the drops into the glue. I love gluing jewels to my cards, so I'm happy that they come in so many different shapes and colors. I've been adding some sparkles, the Enchanted Forest sparkles and the Twilight Treasure Illusion sparkles to other cards, but the rainbow card, as you will see now, stayed without sparkle because I liked it so much as it is. And yeah, that's the end of my video. I really hope you like my Spring Wonder inspiration explosion. I hope you feel inspired to get creative, to create by yourself. And thank you so much for taking the time to watching the video. I hope we see each other soon with another video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.